Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Buenos Aires-born, Lisbon-based jazz guitarist and composer Javier Subatin. We caught up with him to talk about COVID-19, his history in jazz, and his latest 2020 CD called Trance. He was born in Buenos Aires, and at the age of 10, he felt the calling for music and guitar. When he was 14, he started composing music for his guitar in different ensembles, and that curiosity about music led him to study jazz guitar, improvisation, and composition with several esteemed teachers. As time snowballed, he got a good education and started traveling the world. He's got a great story. Enjoy his adventure. Thanks for taking a minute out. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Where exactly are you located right now?
I'm in Lisbon.
How's everything going
it's going okay. It's improving slowly, but it's getting better.
Good. Wonderful. Well, I think this is probably a good time to really kind of delve into music and talk about it. And I wanted to open up by asking about your 2020 CD Trance. And it does come out during a pandemic in a very strange time. Talk to me a little bit about the timing and how it feels to have new music out now.
Yes, the timing it's strange because it changed the way of thinking. Basically, I was doing music in order to get concerts.
Yeah.
In a way, like the logic was that I make a release and then I look for concert and I present the release. With the pandemic, it changed. I stopped looking for concerts because they were all canceled, or maybe the little amount of concerts that were available were very difficult to get. So I concentrate on producing music and make good music, record and look for reviews and coverage. And so I changed a little bit the way. And now I'm thinking about starting again to look for concerts.
This album, each section is based on the repetition of short, looped, contrasting motives. Talk to me a little bit about how the actual construction of this project came about.
This project was I'm always improvising with a guitar and looking for new ideas, and normally I found like short motifs that I repeat, and that's kind of the way I compose. With this project, I wanted to use this, but in a more condensed way, like actually not developing so much when writing the music, but writing very well these short ideas and then let the musicians to develop with improvisation. Because in the previous works I've been doing, I used to write a lot.
You're originally from Buenos Aires, and I want to know kind of about your childhood and how music and jazz became your life.
I grew in Buenos Aires, and my father was a jazz fan. He was always listening jazz music, and in my house were always music sounding the weekends, and he motivated me to listen. Like he used to tell me, like, listen how the drummer is playing the hi-hat and that kind of stuff. And at 10 years of old, I got interested on the guitar because a friend used to play, and once I started to learn, I never stopped.
Who were some of your influences? Who were some of the people, whether in the world of jazz or otherwise, that really motivated you to play the way you do and look at music the way you do?
Well, I started with rock, like Led Zeppelin. I've been always curious about composition. So in a way, with the new things I used to learn, I compose a new piece and like this. And I always needed to learn more in order to be able to play the music I had in my mind. For example, Led Zeppelin was one of the first influences. And then there is a songwriter, an Argentinian songwriter called Luis Alberto Spinetta, who is a very important reference of Argentinian pop, rock, and kind of jazz music. and because of him, I got interested in harmony and and I started to be more interested in jazz and then improvisation. After, my influences on guitar were Pat Metheny or Sean McLaughlin. They were my most important influences, especially Sean McLaughlin, because before I used to play the acoustic guitar.
What about the first live jazz show you saw that really made you think that's something you would like to do with your life?
Actually, it was a teacher that I had. I went to a concert in order to meet a teacher, a possible teacher, and I was impressed of his technique and how he improvised and his playing, and he and I wanted to make kind of the life he was doing. Like he used to teach and play and make concerts. That's what I wanted to do at that moment, right?
What did you learn at university? You went, got a bachelor's, and you've been involved. What did they teach you about music that's really been beneficial to you as a professional?
Actually, in Bachelor, I when I entered into the Bachelor, I already knew a lot about. I already studied a lot about jazz and improvisation and harmony. So, in that terms, the Bachelor didn't give me too much in terms of theory and that kind of things. But the most important thing is to start playing with people and make arrangement and know how the music work in the practice, right? In playing with other musicians, and also to know other types of music. For example, I decided in the Bachelor to specialize in tango, just because in jazz I was kind of specialized, so I was curious about another kind of music. It was like a cultural enrichment and knowing musicians.
What do you like the best about being a musician? Waking up every day knowing that you get to create something. What's the best part of all of that?
That's a good question. The best part is like I'm independent. Yes, the creative part. For example, today I woke up and thinking I'm also a sound engineer, so I mix and master my albums. And now I'm working on a new album. At this moment, it was mixing and mastering, and sometimes it's composing and writing music. Sometimes it's playing. Everything I do related to creating my music is great.
What did you learn about yourself over this time of no live music and quarantine? Maybe something you didn't realize before that could make you a better player when you return to the stage?
In terms of player, maybe it's more like a philosophical or psychological learning, because it changed my way of thinking and giving priorities, because looking for content is very stressful, and sometimes one's lost the focus and the focus on the actual music and creating, because it demands a lot of energy. Looking for concerts and it's very difficult and it's stressful and you never know what's going to happen. And with the pandemic, I had to change that, and now I'm looking to that in a different way. And of course, when we are more balanced, then we play better.
If you could get into a time machine and go back in time and see any musician play live, who would you want to see?
Probably Coltrane.
When we do return to the stage, you're on stage, I'm in the crowd. What do you hope we all realize about the power of live music that we've been missing so badly?
That it's important. The cultural life is important for living well, for a good living. So I hope gradually the governments and that kind of institutions give more importance to that, and that is important that the public realize about this importance of culture.
let's say you come to Kansas City and play a live show. Tell me what that live show would be like.
It's going to be open. Like with the time, I'm more and more into the improvisation of improvisation. So I each time in the concerts I am more open to see what happens. So that's also gives more openness with the public. So openness and great music in the moment.
Beautiful. Javier, thank you for taking some time out today. I really appreciate you talking about the album, COVID and your story, and good luck with everything as we move forward.
For sure. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Lisbon, Buenos Aires, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. Thanks to Javier for his time, music, and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.